This is J. Krishnamurti's second discussion with teachers in Gstaad, 1974.
What do we do? I don't know if you have thought any more about what we were talking last time we met here. We're talking about responsibility. I think we ought to talk about it a little more, don't you? I think, if I may point out, please correct me, I'm not an oracle. I think we have reached a certain point at Brockwood, and I think we ought to open the doors to something new, a new flow. It doesn't mean that what we have done is not right or wrong. What has happened is right. Now, what can we do to you understand what I'm talking about? Would you tell me?
To deepen what has already been begun. The sort of house is there, the grounds are there, there's a home. And that has taken a certain amount of energy and time to establish. And now you're saying, look at what is there. And what I see is all right, but it's not enough. I want to deepen it.
Yes.
I think your sort of description of the raw product that comes to Brockwood is a little unfair. I mean, in many of them, not merely is there a glow, but even a flicker of a flame, whereas the little monkeys that you rather referred to is not the sort of set pattern that arrives.
No, I understand that.
I think perhaps you rather
I was only
exaggerated on that side.
Of course, I was only being funny. I mean, we're talking amongst ourselves who are going to be permanently at Brockwood. Isn't that right? Not who will next year leave. Who going to make Brockwood their home, work there, spend their life there, and create the place with you and all of us together. Is that right? Right, sir? At least that's what I understood. Right? Starting from that basis, on that basis, what can we do? We've got a place, beautiful place, convenience, schools, students. And we reach a certain point. From there we must move to wider fields and wider rivers and all the rest of it. And what can we do? Given all this, I may be talking nonsense, but just listen to it. Given all this, the environment, the people who are really concerned, who understand somewhat the teachings and so on, so on. Given all that, the soil, can we produce, please bear with me, the words I use, I may misuse the word, can we produce human beings who have got the quality of the genius? You understand, sir? Can we bring about human beings who are really extraordinarily, everything that man should be? Can we bring this about? That's really the point.
Would it be helpful to look at what kind of person we're talking about?
And if you do that, then you've got a model.
Yeah. You understand, sir? I send you my son, my daughter. He's come from a fairly decent family. A family somewhat serious, somewhat religious, intellectual, and so-called fairly moral people. I send my son there. I want him to be something outstanding. Yes. Wait, I'll tell you. Morally, intellectually, religiously, I want him to be a free man. Not beaten down. Not be corrupted by money, by sex, by all the things that go on in the world. I want him to be a fundamental revolutionary. You understand? Not political, religious, in the real sense of the word, religious revolutionary, which means he'll be a whole man and therefore affect the whole field of his life. I send him hoping that you will create this. You will make him into that. Not a pattern, which you're going to force him into, or an ideal according to which he's going to live, but live it. You follow? To have supreme intelligence so that he will know what to do when he grows up.
Well, we can't say exactly what we would do, but we can say that these meetings and discussing it and hearing you talk like this clarifies it as we go away.
Go along, of course.
And we might be able to say at any time, well, this is what we propose to do.
Of course.
But the fact of what we're doing now is the answer to your question, what are you going to do, really, to my mind?
That's what we are doing. Now, can we, together, as a group of people dedicated to this, concerned with this, who are going to spend their life with this, can we help to bring this into being? If he is an artist, he is a top artist. We follow, not just second rate. And so on, so on.
So could I ask the question in a different way? Are you asking whether we can change in such a fundamental way. Can we then transmit to the students what you may be trying to transmit to us now?
So, if you waited for you to transform yourself and then transform the child, student, that's what you're asking. That might take years or it might take next day. So you say, wait till I transform.
But we're not saying
No,
that.
we're not
We've
saying
started.
that.
We're not saying that. We have said, without money, without teachers, without students, we have started. And so I think it's a questionable question to say, can we do it? The thing is, we are attempting to do it now. And you're saying, look, go on, deepen it. You've been busy with other things. Now, can you bring all your attention?
That's all I'm saying.
Yes, but you can't say whether you can do it.
No. I am asking.
Are you not posing, in fact, an impossible question?
No, sir.
If
no,
you're...
Sir. Listen to what Mrs. Simmons says. Mrs. Simmons says, we are doing it. Only deepen it. Only make the river not so shallow, widen it.
And deepen it.
Let the waters flow much more.
And I forget how Walt Whitman puts this, but he says the sort of measure of the teacher is whether the pupil can outdistance the teacher.
Yes, you are outdistancing
Yeah,
all the
that's
scientists.
what we want, somebody who outdistances us.
That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying you're not doing it. I'm not saying, have you done it? But I feel we have reached a point where we've got to dig much deeper, open the dikes much more.
Yes. Well, we've got the building, so to speak. We've got the background.
We have got it. We've said that. We've got the background, we've got the building, we've got the students, we've got the place, we've got little money, we've got necessary things.
Yes. And you've established relationships with people who say, yes, I want to join that.
Yes. We have taken 5 years to do that.
Yes.
Yes, but then you talk about producing the finest possible artists. I don't think we're thinking on those.
No.
That's what you say.
I said that. I'm asking, I'm only saying, if we have children, in that flow, can we throw up people who are top in everything?
In their discovery, as we go along from day to day, will they take the lead? Will they go on? Will they add their energy to it?
Who? The children?
Children and students, you'll learn together in a day, in a life. But it's the actual seeing the necessity of doing it finds the way.
Now, when I say can we do it, the can is not, are we capable? It's a question of asking what should be done. You understand? How do we break down, expand, dig deep, open the barriers so the waters will flow? That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying that we haven't done all the rest of it.
And did we say, yes, last time, that we had tried reasoning, we had tried example, we had tried every possible way and nothing very profound had happened. And was there another approach?
That's, of course.
Which doesn't mean to say you throw over all those things until you find it.
Of course.
You carry on until the new way shows itself.
You understand, sir? I've tried let's say in the school, we have tried being kind, all the rest of it. That will go on. But we asked, yes, as she points out, is there a different way of doing this?
So, from what I understood, I wasn't here last time, but it was explained to me that different way, it put the onus totally on ourselves to transform ourselves.
No, sir, that wasn't what I meant. Sorry. That's understood, but that's not what I meant. Do you know what I meant?
You spoke about the flame of caring, really caring for the children and caring for
No,
each other.
that's we do.
So you spoke of something that occurred despite oneself, because everything else took place, it was traditional. Everything else was either good or bad. We've tried all the methods. So you bring us to the point at which...
Now you get to the point where all of us together here, do we all of us together here see that and feel that it ought to be? If we do, then it'll happen. If the whole group here who are working it feel that now we can now move on to the next stage,
That's right.
if we all feel it together, it'll happen.
Yes.
But if one or two of us are sort of, well, I don't quite agree with that, but...
Yes.
And also, that's one point. And also, are we, I'm just asking, I'm not saying we are not, are we still working in the traditional field? You know what I mean by traditional field?
Yes,
Huh?
What do you mean by the tradition?
Being kind, which is necessary, being concerned with each person, which is necessary, giving our time to each student, which is necessary, exams, necessary or not necessary according to students, food, care, all that. I would call all that tradition, which any good, modern, highly intelligent group of teachers want to do that. That's happening in America, everywhere else. I would call that traditional. Are we still working in the area of tradition?
On that level, but also taking it further.
I don't know. I'm asking, are we working? You can push the tradition. You follow? Make the traditions of being narrow, wide, but it's still within that area.
Yes.
I'm asking, I'm not saying you are not. Are we working still within the area of tradition? Just a minute, I'm getting myself, clearing for myself. Or are we working in an area which is not bound by tradition? You follow what I mean? Which is, if we could get at that, tradition can be used or not used, it'll have quite a different effect. I don't know if I'm conveying what I think. I understand it, but I'm trying words for it. You see, may I be a little bit traditional? And I don't like to talk about it, but it's this. There is the good tradition, which exists right through the world. That's being destroyed, but it exists. And that has got a tremendous weight. And there is also a field which exists of a nature that is not, let's call it, I hate these words, let's call it holy for the moment. Don't jump on that word. There are these two fields. The traditional field, which is not holy, Holy, and there is a field which is. Can we tap that field? You understand what I'm saying? Because that field, when it is tapped, does astonishing things. I wonder if I'm conveying anything. Does this sound insane? You're a physicist.
Well, I wouldn't say it sounds insane, but I must say that I don't have much of a feeling for what you say.
No, it's not a question of feeling. You know, sir, say for instance, war, with all its hate and all that exists, that hate, doesn't it? It is not dissipated. It is in the air. Right? It's not you're having a feeling, or it exists. Right?
Hate as a
hate, brutality, violence, killing. In the air, in the atmosphere, in the home, it exists.
There are people who hate.
People in the armies preparing for it. Governments are preparing for it. So it exists. Right?
Through ignorance.
And it exists. We don't say through ignorance or not. It exists. And also, there is a field which, goodness, let's call it for the moment, goodness exists. Right? Agree?
All right. People who
Who
don't function in a hateful way, you mean?
In a hateful way, who are really deeply religious in the right sense of that word, won't kill. That exists too.
Yes.
Right? So these two exist. Right? And there is another field which goes beyond the two.
So would you associate that with wisdom?
Huh?
Would you associate that with wisdom?
I don't like to give it a name yet. I'm just probing into it. So look, I hate to talk about this, but there it is. There are these two fields, right? Man spends most of his time and his energy and his capacities in this field of hate, you follow, antagonism, wars, all that.
Or goodness, as you said.
And somewhat in goodness. Somewhat, not entirely. He spends more his energy in this rather than this. Right? And there is an energy, must be, there is an energy which doesn't belong to either. Because both these energies are controlled by man. I don't know if I'm trying to...
You mean people who want to be good and people who want to be hateful are similar? And there's another...
they are similar, but I'm keeping them separate purposely.
But
look, sir, haven't you looked at it? Wars, right through the world, for centuries and centuries, has created such an atmosphere, hasn't it? Historically.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been good people.
Mm-hmm.
That has also created an atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
These two fields or areas are within the man's perception.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Man's capacities. And we are trying from the one area to move into the other area. Goodness. Right? We are trying to move from this to that.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that is still traditional.
So you're saying, sir, that there are two aspects of one movement, and there's a movement outside.
Don't. I want to get moved to something else. And we have spent our energies in these two fields. And I think there is another area where if we can touch it, that gives us an energy which doesn't belong to either. I don't know if I'm conveying anything.
Yes.
Are you suggesting that the two fields emanate from man?
Yes, yes.
Whereas the other...
The other is not. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
And I believe we can touch it. And when we touch it, we shall transform what we are doing. I wonder if I'm convinced. So this is, you see, sir, this is put in different terms by religious people. Not by the scientists, not by the artists, by the really profound religious people. Not saints. I don't think saints are man-made. But by those who have gone beyond the two. Now, I believe if we could open the door to that, it will operate. It is as real as the atmosphere, the structure of war, evil, this destruction, as real as people trying to be good, kind, the Quakers, you follow all that. It's as real as this. Does that make any sense?
But to have this operate, this other field operate, if we're in these other fields, how do we...
That's it, sir. That's why I ask, are we still operating in these two fields? You follow? We reject this field, war, hate, antagonism, and all the rest of it. We're trying to be something still man-made, as Ms. Zimbalist points out. Both are man-made, right?
Yes.
There is an energy which is not man-made. So I can practice meditation. I can practice being good. I can love another completely. But it's still, you follow? Mm-hmm. Within the field of the things which man has made, unmade, all the rest of it. Now can we get to the other? Now, And you are saying, how am I to get to the other? Is that it? If it exists.
Well, I've heard other people ask you that same question before.
Oh, dozens of times.
Mm.
Now, you can't obviously get to it by man-made ways, by man-made virtues, right? By man-made vows of celibacy, chastity, poverty. You follow?
Mm.
This has been done in India, in Japan, in Europe, everywhere. So, what? When you listen, just a minute, when you listen to this, right? I'm telling you this. When you listen to it, what is your reaction? What do you feel?
I'm not used to being in the area where I have nothing to say, no understanding.
No, sir. You know the area of war, let's call that for the moment.
Mm.
You know the area of goodness. We know what we mean by these two areas.
Mm-hmm.
And as it's been pointed out, these two areas are man-made. Therefore material, materialistic. Right?
Right.
And man also as such, something beyond the material, these two.
As a hypothesis sometimes.
No. No, not as a... He said, these two are unsatisfactory. These two don't satisfy a really deep intelligent man. Obviously. Right?
Right.
And so he says, is there an area where man-made things have little place? So scientists are doing the same thing.
As a question from those two fields.
Yeah.
It's a question.
Not from those fields. The man says, I know these two fields very well. I've been in them. I know all their intricacies, all their problems, all their mischief, all their sorrows, affections, I know them very well. But they're unsatisfactory. Right? Not that I want satisfaction or gratification. It's like a small affair. You understand? I want to see the heavens, not little man-made heavens. You follow? So scientists are asking, you ask it in a different way. The religious people have asked it in a different way. So I'm asking, can we, as a group, discern that? Discern in the sense, get contact with it. Not spiritualism and mysticism and, all that blah comes into it. I don't mean that at all. Recognizing these two as man-made and therefore totally incomplete. Is there something which is totally complete? You understand? And can my mind hit it, capture it, look at it?
Can I ask, this point about complete and incomplete, to me, is essential or primary.
Go on.
That noticing the tendency to look at things in little bits, but as though it were
the whole.
The whole. That noticing that starts a
Yes, sir.
wide.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You see, the Hindus translated it as there is a state, which they call Brahman and so on, there is a state which man can come upon when he discards completely these two. I'm putting it my way, they don't put it that way. They have their own terminology, their own ways of expression. The Christians have said it, the real Christians, not the phony ones, have said in their own way, man must go beyond all this. Right, sir? I'm asking myself, I'm asking myself if I'm here as a teacher with a group of you. I said, now, I have tried the traditional ways, right? These two. In the school. I haven't beaten them, but I've tried all that. I'm not satisfied with these two. Understand? It doesn't give me the flame, the passion, the drive, the fire. It doesn't give me these two. If it gives me, I'm still a social reformer. You understand? I want fire, passion, so that I create out of that passion. I want,
Well, you undoubtedly have met people who have a passion and a fire that's driven by association with some. Right.
I don't mean that.
Right, but they themselves are deluded. They don't see that they're
quite right.
No.
Are you applying that to me?
No, I'm asking myself.
I'm
I'm asking, how do I know? How can I tell that my fire and my drive
This is my question about complete, or my looking at the complete in the incomplete.
Not quite. Ted, I want to look at. He's asking a different question. I think he's asking a different question. I may be mistaken. He's saying the man in this area, A, he's got a great deal of passion. To organize killing needs tremendous energy. Inventive processes, instruments of war, material, follow? That needs tremendous.
I just want to be corrected. How, in the way I see that, I see him feeling a completeness where it really is a very through a pipe.
Yes. And also in the man of the goodness.
Right.
And that's why she said they're both man-made.
But if you see this and you toss them away, you see these things, and if you see his passion, it comes from his desire to be thought well of or whatever, and if you see these motives in yourself and you get rid of them, or you see them, and yet there's still this, you know that there is this passion. I mean, obviously people can well it up. And so what are you saying?
But it's still man-made.
Yes, but it's man-made because it wells up through a motive.
Yes.
Through thought.
Yes.
So if we're looking for a method of welling up this passion without the thought, in another means, how can we look at it with
Melody, that's what we're trying to find out.
But this tool of looking at it...
We're coming to that. We're not going to get enough of a minute. We're going to discuss, we're talking it over so that we'll find out. We must take the problem very clearly to ourselves. The problem is this. We may still be, I'm not saying you are, working in this man-made area. Right? Our education is in this field. Our contact is still more or less within this field. Now I'm not saying, can we get into another area from which miracles happen? Don't jump on the word miracle. From which something new takes place. I don't know how to put all this. Look, sir, isn't it your problem as a physicist? Man has been through all this. And a good physicist says, now, a good scientist says, I want to find out an area where, or a state where, from which all life flows. You understand? I'm putting it. You understand? From which the beginning of everything. I don't.
But we haven't done that.
No, we haven't done that. Can we do it?
That's why I'm not a physicist.
We must find out. Can we as a group come to that? Otherwise, we'll be treading in this field of goodness. You follow?
Well, we can't do it through physics.
No, not through physics.
All right.
The physicist is trying to come upon that. Right?
Some are, yes.
Some are, that's what I'm saying. Now, can we as a group come upon that? What I was saying the other day, a new approach. You follow? Not the traditional business.
It doesn't evolve in any way. There's no progression out of these to the...
No, obviously. I can't progress or go forward by becoming more and more and more good, more and more kind, more and more considerate. For God's sake. Am I making myself clear? Mrs. D? Huh?
Something of it.
Not something I want to see all of it.
I get the feeling of a very creative picture of not knowing, and of course not knowing where you're going, but having this feeling that let's be very careful that we're not continuing what is known. Let's really look at what is happening at Brockwood, let's say, as we're talking about. Let's see where the tradition is lying at Brockwood, where it's functional and where it's not.
Not quite.
It would seem that in this room is where we're looking at it. I mean,
I want you to.
Yes.
That's my whole point. Look, Mr. D, it's like this. You can have a first-class school on the traditional lines. I mean by traditional, really top people who are absolutely, deeply good. Good in the large sense of the word, not just bourgeois word. That they will never kill them. We follow all that. That is still very small. Right? It hasn't got the spark of the eternal, divine, or whatever you like to call it. Right? Now, can the spark of that something burst in us? Otherwise, we'll be playing with this. I'm not saying that's not necessary, but that won't have this, the depth of water, depth of unending volume of water. I don't know how to put it more. It's like turning on good tap. Huh? And the good tap will produce water, hot water, cold water, all the rest is man-made. But the other thing is the river flowing. I wonder if that's simple enough.
Well, isn't it meeting life, Krishnaji?
Don't translate it yet, for God's sake. I'm not meeting life. I don't want to meet life, this stupid life. Of sex and not sleeping with one girl or sleeping with another girl or a boy, what? Meeting life.
In a way, that's sort of meeting death more.
I've been through all that. I said that's not good enough.
Yeah, but we're saying that's also.
I want volumes of water flow through me, not just little driblets.
What's stopping this water? What's preventing this?
Getting caught up in this girl, that girl, sex, enjoyment,
And
all the rest
therefore,
of it.
look what happens. Therefore, I must control myself. I must have little sex, more sex, no sex.
Not necessarily.
That's generally what takes place.
It's generally what takes place, but
Therefore, I'm still within the man-made area.
yes.
When you say meat life, that's still man-made life.
Well, can we get closer in this room in appreciating in
I understand, Ted. I think I understand what you're trying to say. Look, I'm trying to convey to you that as these two areas, A and B, aren't good enough for me. I say, for God's sake, move away from that blasted area. Because that's what man has done, all man, beginning these two areas. And we're trying to produce in B, which is good, in B area, human beings who will reform society, make society better. You follow? All that. But I feel that isn't enough. That doesn't give me, you follow? Doesn't open my heart out. My brain, spaceless. I wonder.
So we may be looking for the spaceless still in B.
No, that's all. So I say to myself, my God, how is that to be God?
Sir.
And my responsibility is to get that. Then I'll operate here. You understand, sir? Then I will create a school that nothing on earth is.
Sir, when I pose this question to myself, and now as I hear you, I don't know whether you can sense the growing frustration, but it's certainly cumulative in here, and I think it's with ourselves, or at least with myself. And it seems to me that you're asking my feet to walk away from myself. And,
of course!
But I can't, but they're not. But they're not.
Sir. That's not a frustration. You are frustrating yourself by saying, I cannot.
But I was here the other day and I didn't. And now I'm here again and I...
No, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Look, sir, I will not enter into these fields.
Right.
It is necessary in teaching, only in a B field. But I will not have my roots in these two. I don't know where I have my roots. I may have no roots at all. And may be the real thing. That may, because I have no roots, I'm open to the whole of heavens. You understand? How am I to talk any more about it? Do you understand, Ted, what I'm talking about?
Yes, but getting it from getting out of B, and I mean, no, I've seen what's happening here is that there's thinking about, there's considering what you mean, and
not what I mean. How can you belong to either?
Right. Now that question, that should be a fact. I mean, if that is a fact, then one is looking bluntly at that.
So you cannot belong to these
Right.
two. Right? And does that mean that you have the eternal waters?
If you really didn't belong to those two, it might perhaps.
Then not you might or might. Do you?
It's not you, it seems, who has to talk better or more clearly. It seems to me that it's me, that it's us, who have to transform. But.
So look, sir. I've been, as a boy, Hindu, till the age of 8. You understand?
Yeah.
Tradition. The mother, father, extraordinarily orthodox people. You understand? Living very simply, meditating, going to temple, orthodoxy.
Did it condition you?
Huh?
Did it condition you till 8?
Wait. It should have, but it didn't.
Oh, but it didn't. Oh.
Wait!
It didn't.
Listen, sir. Then people adopted my brother. They said there is the master, you follow, who tells us that this boy is going to be etc., etc., cared for, looked after, watched over, never allowed to be by himself because people might corrupt. You follow? Very carefully looked after. Then all that disappeared. And they said, this is going to be the world teacher. You understand? And I was only a little boy of 14, 13. Knew nothing of all this. You understand what I'm talking about? Went out one year, went out the other year. You understand? Not conditioned. As a Hindu theosophic. But they said that teacher who is eternal, if all the rest of it, is going to speak through you. Now what? You understand? They translated it as a person. You understand what I'm talking about? You don't. You They translated it as a person whom they met on a different plane, who gave them messages and so on. Now, just listen to this. It is not a person. You understand? Because the person becomes too small when you're talking about heavens to make one little you follow? Now, if you are brought up in that, either you get conditioned or destroyed. You understand what I'm talking about? Yes. Are you all listening as though dropping out of ears? Huh? And can you now, all of you, can you be that? You understand what I'm talking about, sir? So that you are responsible to the most sacred thing. I can't put it anywhere. Do you understand what I'm talking about? It's all so damn new to you. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
You would have us with no motive.
Oh, that's so much more than that. No motive, no. You understand, sir?
Sir, aren't you literally saying what this gentleman said, that you literally walk away from yourself and then something else operates?
I don't put it that way. You don't walk away from yourself. There is no yourself.
No, I mean
walk away.
the ego.
No, don't put it that way. That's what they have done. That's what the traditionals have done. They have walked away from themselves and identified with something enormous, which is still themselves. I don't know.
Why don't we see the obviousness of what you're saying?
I don't know.
Then why are you talking to walls, I mean? Why am I listening here? This all sounds absurd to me. I don't understand this. Myself... No.
Look, sir, I want my son to have the waters of life. You understand? Waters, not man-made rivers and man-made waters. Waters that have no ending and no beginning, that have no depth, immeasurable depth. I want him to have it. And it's your responsibility. And I said to you, look, don't play around with the everlasting, with these two traditional fields. You understand? And it's for you to find out. That is creativeness. You understand, sir? Isn't it? Huh?
You know, sir, it seems that there's something, seems to be a rarefied atmosphere in here. Please, let me finish this. And when we go out, as Mrs. Simmons was saying, we lead our daily lives and we meet them and we don't ask ourselves, let's say there's something operating there. Let's say what you're talking about is operating. But here, you seem to be posing a question that is now in this room translated in terms of thought, and so the question arises. And so it becomes a problem.
I'll show it to you, sir. First, you are the educators at Brockwood. And I send you my son. And I say to you, don't work in these two fields, because you'll be dying of old age before you do anything, produce anything. And it's your responsibility as human beings to create this in this boy. Right? Huh? Create it. Don't ask me how. But that is creation, isn't it? Like creating a baby in your womb. You don't say, how am I going to create it? You've got the field, you've got the house, you've got the money, you've got the students, you've got everything there. And I said, for God's sake, don't work in these two fields, because you will never do a thing in these two fields. Right? What will... Now, if that is deeply and abundantly clear...
So, the word creation implies making something that isn't already there, which... am I done?
I don't mean creation in the sense painting this, that.
Yes.
That's not creation. That's...
Yes, I know. I understand. What I'm saying is you're taking a child, everything that this child that you're talking about, the child already possesses. I mean, perhaps it has to be shown to him, but it's not giving him anything.
No, sir, I'm not saying give him anything. He comes to you conditioned. He comes to you with various forms of tendencies, idiosyncrasies, drink, smoke, wanting to do this, wanting. He comes to you like that. And I say, I've sent you my son who is already like that. Don't go through these traditional fields. Because you'll never do anything in those two traditional fields, or in the one traditional field, because you're not going to train him to kill. So you will never do anything in that through that field. Don't go through that field. I said, bring it about. It's your responsibility. Right, sir?
Seems to be.
Can you do it? Not can you, I'm the wrong question. Do you feel the immense responsibility of it? If we do, all of us together, we have done it. Because we are not responsible to this, to the B field. You understand? But we will be responsible to B as long as we say, now what shall I do? How is this to be transmitted? What am I to do with this child who is conditioned, who smokes, who drinks, who wants to do all kinds of things around behind my back? You follow?
So you talked about this, if I may use the word holy. You used the word holy
I did.
before. And I feel that all those who are here have spent perhaps some years, a great deal of time, working at looking at themselves. But it seems that...
I don't want to look at myself. Finished with it.
But then how do we come upon this holiness? And what's the relationship?
Sir, how am I to show Mr. Jenkins Don't look at those mountains. Look beyond the mountains. You understand? Beyond the mountains is the real thing, not these mountains. You understand? And you say, my chap, how am I to look beyond the mountains when I'm short-sighted? When I'm angry, when I'm jealous, when I'm this, how am I to look beyond? He said, for God's sake, don't start there. Start from the other side. And you say, what do you mean by the other side? I don't know the other side. I don't know how to start from there. And you follow, you're back again in the same principle. I wonder if you understand it. Am I making it too difficult? Look, sir, I'm on this side of the bank of a wide river. And we have built houses here, beautiful schools, good children, and rotten military people. You know, we have done on this side everything man has made. And we are still playing along on this bank. And somebody comes along and says, for God's sake, friends, don't do this, because you will never get out from this bank. Go to the other bank. Right? Go to the other bank and everything will be settled for you. Come easily. And you say, now, I know the water exists. Am I to take a boat, swim? What am I to do? And he says, just go to the bank. And leaves you. What will you do? What will you do? The doing is the creative thing. You follow? It's not what am I to do. I can't put it anymore. You understand, sir? You're a physicist. I said, look through the microscope. And you have looked through the microscope and seen lots of things. And somebody comes along and says, don't look at the microscope. It's a very limited area. Take your eyes away from it and look. And that's all. He says, leaves you there. And I say, right. I've looked at through the microscope, finished. Now I'm going to look. Because I'm really interested, boiling to look. Not how to look. What am I to do? What am I to say? What are the instruments of looking? Are my eyes clear? Should I put on? I'm going to burn to look. I can't stop talking.
Troubles in this is the sense of I'm here, what'll I do, all the energy goes into not looking. It's looking around and being here and not at the other. And one pours one's out of emotional frustration, various things into this, which digs you in deeper and deeper and deeper here.
And the dependency on tools that one is familiar with.
Search for things that aren't applicable in this too. But it's all miring you more in this side of the bank.
I leave my son in your charge. And you're responsible. And I come back to you 5 years later, I want an answer. You understand? I've given my son, my money, my blood, and you're responsible. I want an answer from you. I'm sorry, I am not done. Or I cannot. Or something has happened which you won't understand, you old fool. I want an answer from you.
Sir, can I express this? It's slightly humorous, but it just popped into the head. I was listening to what Mary said, and to what you're saying, and it's so obvious. There's the image of a chicken with its head cut off, running around, looking for its head. I have this crazy sense that that's what's going on. If I would lie down and die, I wouldn't have the problem.
Sir, if you feel responsible, you wouldn't do that. If you are responsible for another's life, you understand, sir? And you haven't time to think about your life. Your life is that boy's life. I don't know if you... But if you feel responsible, then things happen. What time is it?
5:15.
I think that's enough, don't you? You can meet again, huh?
Let's say when, Krishnaji, because...
Huh?
Let's say when now.
You certainly will.
Do you speak on Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Is it?
When is the first? Thursday?
No, it's at the 31st.
No,
Thursday's the first.
Thursday.
Thursday's the first.
The discussions are on Thursday.
No,
31st.
Wednesday. They
Wednesday
start
the
on
31st.
Wednesday the 31st.
Oh, Wednesday the 31st.
That's right.
Oh, I beg your pardon. You missing? That's all right. Oh, Wednesday the 31st. Oh, I see. Not the first. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And Sunday.
5 discussions. Oh, I see. I didn't realize. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Right. You settle when you want.
Would you prefer it on a discussion day?
Oh, sure.
It has to be.
Had to
Because
be
at the
there.
end of that, everything's over.
Yes.
Oh, yes, you're going to have Thursday.
That's it.
Tuesday?
We'll meet, sir, somewhere.
Would you prefer it Tuesday when you're not speaking in the morning?
You arrange, I don't care, I said. I really mean I don't care if you say Tuesday,
That's
Thursday.
the day before you talk. Would you rather,
Discussions, none.
would you rather have a full
No, I don't
empty
mind.
day?
I don't mind on days of discussion, previous day. Because it's only days of talking, I have to talk the whole hour, therefore I have to be.
You wouldn't want a whole day of rest Tuesday, because you have meeting
What
tomorrow.
is Monday? Tomorrow, that's
You
tomorrow.
have a full day tomorrow. You have sound and gathering in the morning and another meeting in the afternoon.
Oh, yes.
So Tuesday will be your only day of rest before the discussions.
I don't mind Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Huh?
What time? 4 again?
Whatever you all decide, sir.
4.
In the morning?
No, 4.
No,
What about the morning?
Would you rather in the morning?
Huh? Wouldn't it be nicer in the morning? Huh? Bene, have it in the morning. 11.
11.
Tuesday at 11. And may I just say those that are collected collect in the same way. Collect at 10:30 the first lot, and quarter to 11 the others.